now! What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I have been doing this Marvel movie marathon for my road to Civil War, and I have to admit, I'm a little tired. I am, but it's totally fucking worth it to rewatch a movie like Captain America, the First Avenger. This was a 2011 film, and I feel like I have been saying this with every new character being introduced in every new movie from Marvel's Phase 1, that you have your doubts going in that Marvel was going to be able to pull off portraying Steve Rogers, Captain America, in a movie for the very first, well, I guess we're not counting that 90s movie, are we? But presenting him in a way that's buyable, believable, that's making you care about this character or buy him in this world. And they did it. The First Avenger, let's talk about Chris Evans as Steve Rogers, because some people were like, what? Johnny Storm, the Human Torch from the Fantastic Four movie? That's crazy. And maybe even I said that too. But he was born to play Steve Rogers. He was. As good as he was in his comedic films and whatnot, I like how he plays this character. You almost forget, rewatching this, just how much time we spend with skinny Steve. The small version of Steve Rogers that is still very heroic and brave and somebody to look up to. How much he is desperate to be enlisted in the army, to go in the war. Stanley Tucci is so great. Maybe only like 3 scenes in the movie, but his scenes are so great. His German accent. He's the scientist who truly wants to help Rogers, sees the good in him. I love just how much he emphasizes the good in his heart. I love like when he meets Haley Atwell, Peggy Carter, which I have such a different perspective on the Peggy Carter character after the TV show and whatnot. But going back here, she's such a strong character. She always is, but here it's just they present her so well. For a movie that takes place in the 40s, you see a British woman in the military in such a prominent role, and how much she takes to Rogers, like in the scene where it's like where he's trying to get sort of drafted, and when he throws himself on top of the grenade, like those are moments where he's heroic. I get chills watching that. It's rare that you could take somebody who I'm sure many people would have said is too corny or too out of date. This character would never work with today's audience, and they prove it wrong. Get Dominic Cooper as Howard Stark, Tony's father. I love that as well, that it's all sort of connected. And Hugo Weaving as Red Skull. Red Skull's another villain that I was just like, seeing him in live action, how great the red face looked, how great Hugo Weaving plays him as somebody who is just as evil and dangerous and out of control as Hitler himself. And I love the rise of Hydra, that they're just like Nazis, but they have their own gear, their get-up, and their symbols, and their experiments that they have going on when they're taking in prisoners and doing this and that. I really get into this story. I do. And it's funny to say that because I guess usually when I think about Marvel movies or superhero movies like the ones that are my favorite, I think of the ones that have the most action, or has the most set pieces and big explosions and fighting. And this movie has those here and there. There's a long montage of Rogers going in there and basically winning the war, going into territories and just winning and winning. But it's montages. It goes by quick, and some people complain that this movie doesn't have enough action. And I never once feel that way. I never once feel like it's slow or it's boring. Out of the Marvel Phase 1 movies, this was the first one that I saw multiple times in the theater. Look at some of the other cast we have. Tommy Lee Jones, Need I say more? He comes in and he owns every line that he has. Great presence. Toby Jones as Zola. Really like just his reactions to Red Skull, realizing that this guy is just on a different level. He's evil, but it's like, fuck, okay, I guess I'm just going to go along with it. Hail Hydra! Neil McDonough, who plays Dum Dum Dugan. Some funny moments. I like the Howling Commandos, just that group. You get your brief moments with them where they feel like a collective unit. Sebastian Stan as Bucky. I love seeing his friendship with Rogers at the beginning when Rogers is the smaller guy and Bucky's the ladies' man, and then how they play off of that, and then later on they feel like best friends. I remember being shocked when Bucky fell from the train from the high mountains and seemingly died. I was shocked. I knew what was going to happen with the character, but it's just in that moment it hit me. Also, I forget that Natalie Dormer is in this for a brief moment where she grabs Rogers and kisses him. It's so funny, going back and rewatching it now, I'm like, holy shit, that's where I recognize that face. I mean, she's everywhere now. Just as a character, selling me on the Steve Rogers character, Captain America, having virtually most of the movie take place in the 40s and having me still be interested, having me feel so much for the Peggy Carter, Steve Rogers love story. Out of all the Marvel movies, I feel like these two feel like soulmates. They feel like two characters that you just desperately wanted to see them get together, and they never did. It breaks my heart every time I watch the scene where Rogers just decides to drive the ship right into the water, and Peggy's on the phone with him, and she's crying, and she's telling him not to do it, and they talk about the last dance that they're going to have, and then he just crashes, and it's so fucking sad. I admit, watching it now, after how many times I've watched it, I still get emotional. I do. I know. Wuss, call me what you want, but it brings that out of you. The end scene of Rogers waking up in present day, his last line is, "I had a date." It's just sort of a sad ending. It really is a sad ending, but yet we know what's going forward. We know in the after credits scene we get an Avengers trailer, and like, it's like, fuck, the Avengers are coming. As sad as that just made me, I'm getting the fucking Avengers. You can't get better than that. This is called the first Avenger, and this is what brought you into that last phase. I love this movie. I do. I still rank Iron Man slightly above this, but this is like skeetering. This is a very close race for the Phase 1 movies as far as which is better. This is very underrated, underappreciated. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Captain America the First Avenger? I was gushing over it because I really enjoyed rewatching it. Let me know in the comments below. If you're wondering, I'm not going to do a review on the Avengers because I did that last year before Age of Ultron. So if you want to know my thoughts on that, look that up on my channel. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Next up will be Iron Man 3. Later!